What you are about to hear, ladies and gentlemen, is not a drill. It is not a publicity gimmick. Furthermore, it's definitely not reality TV. Remy Ma is up against Claressa Shields in this matchup, and it ended in front of half the fucking hip-hop business with cries, sirens, and handcuffs. Have you ever seen someone's freedom, wig, and job all vanish in a single night, friends? Since Remy Ma just accomplished the unthinkable, she transformed a birthday celebration into a scene of a crime. According to witnesses, it began with a drink, a gaze, and a single, icy statement. "Everything was taken from me by you." Before anyone could react, champagne glasses were flying. A purse was slapped at someone. Additionally, the self-described Beyoncé of Claressa Shields, however, mic remained on, and they ended up on the floor with their heels off. Scarlight from the police. And the police showed up in full force just when you thought things couldn't get much worse. Indeed, the moment Remy Ma was pulled out in handcuffs was captured on camera, and has since been leaked. What actually transpired within the Velvet Rope VIP war zone? Then, and why does the internet claim that this was the release of 20 years of anger in less than 10 minutes? Hold on tight. This scandal has hardly just begun. Do you know how some nights seem planned because they are so violent, chaotic, and unexpected? This, however, was not a script, the actual, and it concluded with Claressa Shields standing over the debris, with a bloodied eyebrow and a glass of champagne still in her hand. Remy M handcuffed and screaming like a woman crazy. Nothing should be because it felt like a fight to her. Remy entered that chamber as though she were entering a battlefield. A war for honor, a war for retribution, and most importantly, a war for Papoose. The place was full. Rap elite, boxing royalty, influencers, and celebrities. Claressa had her I won moment, her celebration, her spotlight, and her Shields moment. She also ensured that everyone in the room was aware of her victory. The throng, the influence, and, based on everything, Remy Ma's spouse. Thenra was no reality show here. This was the scream came. Like a bullet, it cut through the laughing. "Everything was taken from me by you." Quiet. The sort of quiet that falls just before chaos erupts. At first, no one moved. I felt as though I was seeing a ghost. Remy Ma, dressed entirely in black, with her trenched coat still buttoned, her eyes fixed intently on Claressa, and not a shred of hesitancy in her gait. Security stopped. Papoose went cold. Claressa, however, did not recoil. It seemed as though time had paused for a moment. One man, two women, and around 20 years of animosity. Simmering Benglisting chandelier. Then anarchy broke out. The champagne glass that broke at Claressa's feet was the first to fall. The shove was then forceful, careless, and irate. People began to yell. There were phones. The music was ruined by the DJ. There was a shout. "It's happening!" Like this was a long-awaited occasion. To be honest, it was. This wasn't an unexpected development. This wasn't just any old quarrel. This marked the culmination of a conflict that had been brewing for years in murmurs from the industry. Side glances, subtweets, and silence. Let's support it. Papoose and Remy Ma were meant to be untouchable. The ride-or-die nobility of hip-hop. She was imprisoned. He was down for 7 years. Love and loyalty. No scandals or side chicks. The muttering became screams as Shield began to appear alongside Papoose. It began subtly. A few shared panels, a few pictures, and a few too many in interviews. "He's like a brother to me." Then followed the flirtatious remarks, the Instagram live streams, and the clothing that matched at events. Remy didn't ignore it, despite the efforts of his fans. According to sources, she was furious behind the scenes, phoning people, verifying dates, and inquiring as to who knew what and for how long. She was deceived. Furthermore, the fact that Claressa didn't merely take Papoose made her feel erased. She adopted the story. All of a sudden, nobody was discussing Rhee's years of sacrifice or her return album. They were discussing how attractive Claressa and Papoose were together. How genuine and new they appeared. And she was gone, Remy. No more publicity. No appearances, just quiet. According to witnesses, she didn't come with pals till that evening. There was just her and a rage so intense you could sense it before you even saw her. No handlers. No entourage. She passed security like a phantom. Didn't talk. Didn't check in. And entered the ballroom as if she had been there all along. Perhaps she believed she was, but nothing had prepared the space for what was about to happen. While gripping Papoose's hand, Claressa was mid-spec, toasting to fresh starts. The audience applauded. Papoose grinned. "You stole everything from me," he continued. One of the purses flew. Claressa ducked. Remy sprang forward. People rushing, cries, hair, and nails. A floating candle centerpiece struck someone. Blood was present. Some of the glasses were broken. Remy shoved a serving tray off a table as if it owed her money, causing that terrible metallic thud. The most unbelievable element was that Claressa refused to give up. She squatted down. According to witnesses, she whispered something that drove Remy even more insane. According to one account, it was, "You wouldn't be out here fighting for him if you were really the wife." The altercation became heated at that point. They shouted and clutched each other. Safety attempted to separate them, but not before Remy was able to seize Clarissa's wig and drag it across the room. In response, Claressa gave a slap that reverberated off the walls. Someone managed to capture the entire 19 seconds of unadulterated chaos on camera. The footage was already on the internet when the police showed up. Twitter was exploding. Live comments on Instagram were exploding with "I believed this was scripted when I asked it in real life, but it wasn't. Remy existed. The anger was genuine. And the accusations, oh, they're real." Remy was still wailing when the police took her into custody. "It's about Papoose, not Claressa. She misled you. Everything was manipulated by her. When the truth is revealed, you will regret this." The truth. What is the truth? That is the crucial question. Because Claressa calmly returned to the microphone after wiping the blood from her eyebrow and fixing her lashes as Remy was hauled out in handcuffs. She claimed that when individuals mistake history for destiny, this is what occurs. Cool. There was complete silence in the room. Furthermore, Papoose had not yet migrated. He was being yelled at by people who wanted to know why he didn't intervene or stop it. Perhaps, though, that was the purpose. Perhaps he anticipated this breaking pointer. Perhaps he was simply unsure of what to do. In any event, a few minutes later, Remy Ma was placed into a squad car. She continued to yell, "I warned you," despite the hair mess, ripped coat, and wounded lip. The video is now widely available. FZY understood. The uncut videos were uploaded by Shadroom. One of the perspectives was even reposted by Claressa, who said, "Some people learned the hard way. But this wasn't merely a quarrel. Don't get me wrong. This was a collapse, a public disintegration. And after everything was said and done, it wasn't clear who had prevailed. What comes next was the question. Because Remy's history simply came back to haunt her in the most explosive way imaginable. And she might lose everything this time." As Remy sat and chose to let it happen. With cameras blazing and sirens blaring and people cuffed in the back of the patrol car like it was the Met Gala, the true tale was only getting started. Because the turmoil in the ballroom was only half of the controversy, which nobody saw coming, not even Claressa. Surveillance cameras captured the remaining half. It has since been leaked. Let's dissect it. According to the Atlanta Police Department's official report, Remy Ma entered the building at 11:39 p.m. 4 different security cameras captured her on camera, one in the lobby, one at the front door, one in the corridor at the coat check, and one pointed straight at the ballroom entrance. This is where things start to get hot. Remy is seen taking something out of her purse on camera as well, right outside the coat check. Something that appears to be a folded piece of paper or even a picture. After staring at it for precisely 12 seconds, she tears it in two and throws it in the garbage. According to insiders, the picture was of Papoose and Claressa at a boxing news conference in Miami 2 weeks prior, wearing matching clothes, holding hands, and grinning passionately. The kind of picture that humiliates in addition to hurting. Furthermore, Remy was never good at handling embarrassment. However, hold on, it grows dimmer. She is seen stopping at the ballroom doors and turning to see her own reflection in the glass in the third camera. She slowly and deliberately mouths something. According to a frame-by-frame analysis, she stated, "This ends tonight. We are no longer discussing a sudden meltdown, if that is the case. We are discussing intentional rage. A setup, a woman who came too loudly, publicly, and permanently make her point rather than to converse or confront, not to mention what transpired just prior to the incident." Leaked guest tape claims that Remy spent about 6 minutes standing at the back of the room. 6 full minutes. Observing as Claressa prepares her toast. Observing Papoose nod and smile. Silence can be hazardous. That was the only thing Remy said. The kind that waits for the precise time when impact is assured. Then bruising and boiling. Let's go on to the aftermath. The following allegations are listed in the police record, which was formally made public just hours after the arrest.